Hello friends, how are you? This is Shanka Ponsley, your developer in San Antonio. I just received a question by some realtor friends here in San Antonio about hashtagging. So the question was, what is the appropriate way of using hashtags in social media campaigns? And I thought, hey, this is a great question for another live session. So we're gonna focus on Facebook and Twitter for this purpose, but you pretty much can think of hashtags as signifiers, as something that gives meaning to content. So let's talk about 3 different ways of using hashtags. Number 1 is you basically give an identifier to a campaign. Say, for example, these friends here, they have a very interesting video series called Real Estate Smarts. So anytime they would publish something about their video series, they should probably say, hey, tomorrow is a new episode of our hashtag Real Estate Smarts. So that means that when 1 or 2 months later, these people want to look at the history of how all of these posts have performed, they can just do a search on hashtag Real Estate Smarts, and then they see everything in chronologically listed with the reactions and the comments and so on. So that is something where you can use hashtags to just identify something that you want to talk about. If I, for example, wanted to start a series of video broadcasts around best practices in web development, I could imagine using hashtag web development course SA. So this can only mean something to you, maybe, in order to organize your tweets or your posts on Facebook. So again, identifiers for campaigns. Number 2, what hashtags really do is they give you a way to create a semantic field. So semantics comes, I believe, from the Greek semantikos, meaning significant. So basically, you create a relationship between signifiers. There we go. It is about creating intersections between different fields of information. And that is where you can use hashtags in a very smart way, really. Let me find an example. Okay, say you want to write a post that deals with recipes, and you specifically want to talk about a recipe that is for vegans and that it is cheap to create. So basically, if now you post something on Facebook or on Twitter, you would say recipe, hashtag mom, hashtag vegan, hashtag cheap. So in that way, you can create a semantic field. You can attract people that are interested in either one of those topics to be attracted to your tweet or to your post. So that is a very interesting way of using hashtags. If we apply this to the real estate industry, you could say hashtag move, hashtag San Antonio, hashtag apartments, hashtag Alamo Heights. Okay, so that's a way of really creating that semantic field that attracts the exact audience that you want. And the third way of using hashtags is in a way, it's hacking hashtags in order to get more exposure for your content. For instance, what I see a lot here in San Antonio is that people add to whatever they post on Instagram, on Facebook, or on Twitter, they will just add the hashtag GoSpursGo to whatever content they publish. Now, that is smart in a way because it will attract a lot of exposure because, as everybody knows, San Antonians love their Spurs. But also, in a way, maybe it is not so smart because your message gets less focused. Because now, if you write something about a recipe and you add the hashtag GoSpursGo, then you may attract someone to your post that is really not interested in cooking, but he or she wants to know about results, Spurs' results. So that's a way where hashtags can be used to kind of hack more exposure, and you have to decide whether it's a good way to do it or not. Back in the day when SEO was still simple, people would create little keywords in their websites that would attract more visitors to their sites. And one of the very, very popular keywords, believe it or not, was sex. So people would, I imagine if you write about a recipe and you say hashtag sex, you put that behind your post. That'll create a lot of exposure, but is that the audience you want to reach? Again, that is a question that you have to ask yourself and then make a decision there. So again, let's summarize this. Best use of hashtags. Number one is identify campaigns. And ideally, you choose a hashtag that has a meaning. So if you want to post a series of content about cooking, then your hashtag should probably contain at least the word cooking and maybe a little more that binds it to maybe your location. It is always good in social media to bind something to your location. So cooking in San Antonio or cooking in Alamo Heights is a lot better than just cooking, just hashtag cooking. So identify campaigns. Second, again, it was create a field of meaning, create a semantic field that is a relationship between signifiers. Okay, so if you want to write about sustainability and reducing water consumption, then use those two hashtags. Use hashtag sustainability, use hashtag earth, use hashtag water, and use hashtag reduce water consumption. So that again creates this field of meaning that attracts as many people as possible to your content. And then number three was hacking hashtags in a way to create more exposure. And there is a very interesting website called trendsmap.com. That map shows real-time popular hashtags per location. So you can go there and say, hey, what are people talking about? And I think this is focused on Twitter. What are people talking about in San Antonio today? And you may find that they talk about the Spurs. And then this is just something where you can say, okay, why don't I come up with a way to include that hashtag in my post? Okay, I hope this was helpful. If you have any more questions about hashtags, feel free to get in touch with me. I am not an expert in hashtagging, but I do use it often enough to kind of have a basic understanding of how to use hashtags. Now, if you want to be put in touch with a social media expert that maybe can sit down with you and create a whole content strategy campaign with hashtags planned out ahead in time, let me know. I can probably get you in touch with someone who can work on a plan with you. All right, thanks for listening. Like the video, share the video, and I'll see you for the next live video broadcast here.